played a mean Bowers game for me.
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. And today we're excited to check out the very fashionable Miss Piggy card game from Milton Bradley. This is for 3 or 4 players, age is 8+, and it'll take you, I don't know, about 15 to 25 minutes to play. And in the very fashionable Miss Piggy card game, this is kind of like my first trick-taking game. This is a trick-taking game where you are going to try to not collect the few Miss Piggy cards in the game by playing your typical trick-taking fashion, where you have to follow suit, you can't renege, all that sort of stuff. But it does have some bells and whistles with some special cards, like the 0 that'll give out penalties, or if you collect everything, it's kind of shooting the moon, you can give points to other people. It's a light, simple, old-school trick-taking game based off of Miss Piggy for some reason. But is it good? Let's open it up, and I'll tell you what I think. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of the very fashionable Miss Piggy card game. So first and foremost, we get our handy dandy rule sheet. It is really just one page, double-sided. You don't even have anything right here. Very straightforward, easy to learn, easy to teach. Thumbs up on the rule booklet. It's also a really simple trick-taking game, so I teach you how to play right now. So in Miss Piggy card game, you're going to have a little score pad. You're going to be keeping track of score over rounds. The game will end when someone gets to 50 points. Once someone gets to 50 points, whoever has the fewest number of points will win the game. So when you first start the game, you're going to deal out the cards evenly, and whoever's going to go first is going to lay down a card. And you'll notice that the cards come in a couple different suits. You're going to have a yellow, green, blue, and purple. So there will be 4 different suits in the game. You also notice there's a few Miss Piggy cards scattered throughout there. Generally, you do not want those cards. The rest of the cards mean absolutely nothing. So let's just say I lead off, and I'll throw out this 2 right here. So like typical trick-taking games, everyone has to follow suit. So this guy's laying down the 5. This guy would probably lay down his 1, and then this person would lay down the 4. And whoever laid the 5 would take the trick, and then they would be in charge. But since none of these are Miss Piggy cards, you can just throw them off to the side. They don't matter at all. So the next person's looking, and he's like, what do I want to do here? I'm 2 suited, so you know what? Maybe I'll try and draw out... Sure, I'll do that one. And then the green person would go, and they might play the 2 because they have the 1 still. This person would play the 3. And let's see what this guy's got over here. Unfortunately, he has the 4, so he has to play the 4, and now we have our first Miss Piggy card given to someone. So all these cards don't really matter. You throw them off to the side, but this person has the 4, which means they are going to score 4 points at the end of this round. Guaranteed, unless they can get all of the Miss Piggy cards. If you can get all the Miss Piggy cards, then you actually give 12 points to everybody else. So now at this point, this guy's like, all right, maybe I'll try and take everything. So he leads out, and he's like leading out strong. He lays down that big 5. This person, clearly seeing the opportunity to get rid of his 5, gets rid of his green 5. This person gets rid of his 4, and this person gets rid of the 0 because that's all they have. And now this person is 1 step closer to completing their Miss Piggy goal. So let's see. He sees a lot of people throwing off, so maybe he sees if 2 is still going to ride. So once again, this person might... It really depends on how much they've played this game. They might be like, oh yeah, I can finally get rid of this 5, or they might say, oh, that guy's getting close to getting all of them. So you know what? Let's say this is a kid, they don't know any better. They throw down that 5 to get rid of it, and they laugh at it. But much to their surprise, this person lays down the 3, which is still out there. This person lays down the 3, and now this person has taken the 5. And then you would keep going until, well, at this point, I believe you could be done. No, you keep going until somebody gets the 3 out there. So let's just pretend this guy got the 3. So looking at our points, this player would get 5 points, this player would get 3 points, and this player would get 4 points. Now the 0 is a special card. If you get the 0 and only the 0, then you get to give someone 5 penalty points at the end of the round. So getting the 0 is not necessarily bad as long as you don't have any of the other cards. So right now I'm giving someone 5 points. Right now I'm taking 4 points, and the 0 is canceled out. But anywho, you're going to continue to do that until somebody gets to 50, at which point whoever's lowest score will be the winner of the very fashionable Miss Piggy card game. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. Alrighty then, the very fashionable Miss Piggy card game from Milton Bradley. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. It is a very light, simple trick-taking game, which will be immediate turn-off to a lot of people, and there is nothing here aside from trick-taking. It is just all trick-taking all day, which will be a turn-off to some people. Also, 3-4 players, it's very restricted player count. Only 3, only 4. I didn't really notice the difference too much between the 2 player counts. I liked it at both player counts. I thought it was good. It's a little bit easier to shoot the moon at 3 players because, well, you have less players. But still, it is what it is. Also, thematically, it's not about Miss Piggy at all. There's nothing about this game that is about Miss Piggy except for the fact that 4 of the cards have Miss Piggy's face on them. Other than that, it is just a trick-taking game with colors. But hey, whatever. Any other cons I have with the game? The score pad is a little bit odd. I wish the score pad has space for 6 scores, even though it only goes up to 4 players. Not sure. Make it 8, so that way you could fit 2 games on there. Or I don't know what they were doing there. I guess if you played it 3 players, that'd be great. But continuing onward, I don't really have too many holes to poke in the Miss Piggy card game, as long as you know that it is a family, lightweight, trick-taking card game with no theme whatsoever. Moving on to the pros, Miss Piggy's... Oh, what is the stupid name? The very fashionable Miss Piggy card game is actually a good to great trick-taking game for children and family. Yeah. And I would almost put this as a children's game if your kids are, I'd say, 7, 8, 9 years old. It's just that simple of a game. So what do I like about the game? First and foremost, easy to learn, easy to teach, and it's a great building block game, if that's even an expression, to help you make your way up to more complex trick-taking games, which is always something I'm looking for. Since I work with kids and I play a lot of games with kids, and I have my son, myself, who's 5, who's really starting to get into a lot more games, I love these sort of games that introduce these mechanisms so then I can play other games that will build on top of it. And while Miss Piggy card game is not one of my favorite trick-taking games of all time by any stretch of the imagination, all the kids in my classroom who I played it with, who were ages, I think, 6 to 11, really enjoyed the game. And surprisingly, I am going to recommend this game. I am going to be keeping this game in my classroom. It is a good to great children/family trick-taking game. Don't look at it as a game for adult, even though it is what it is. It's okay as an adult's game. But for kids, I think this is definitely a good to great game that if you find, definitely check this one out if you routinely play with kids. So that is the Miss Piggy... what is the stupid name? That is the very fashionable Miss Piggy card game. Could have been about anything, but it's about Miss Piggy, and it's a good trick-taking game for kids. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know what is a mass market branded game that you thought was going to stink that did not stink. For me personally, obviously, this one comes to my mind. Also, Shirt Tales, which is actually, I think it's another game by Milton Bradley in this series. It's another really thin box game based on this super obscure 80s TV show about these animals with shirts that matched or something. And it actually was a really solid game that's still in my collection. So whoever was working on these games clearly knew what they were doing, smacking good games onto otherwise really odd IPs. But let me know in the comments below, what is the last mass market branded game you thought was going to stink that did not stink? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.